favorite for now, but I know somebody who is a favorite. I am Katowice. We'll have to wait just a second. Your favorite fantasy LCS player for the week is G2 Esports Emperor. He managed to pick up 37 fantasy points, playing 2 games of Lucian, 11 kills, 7 assists. Making my life difficult. I actually pieced out of fantasy about 2 weeks ago when Deficio took me down. And as we're getting closer and closer to playoffs, you guys keep fiddling with your fantasy rosters, we need to award some OP5 players. And we're going to kick this one off with somebody who landed a plethora of death sentences. It is Hylissang from the Unicorns of Love. 92% kill participation today, 14 out of the 16 kills. And if we just look at some of the hooks, he literally swung, wound up, and connected against so many players all day long. There we go, the clip's finally lining up at the end, and just finding key targets over and over. And for a team like UOL, who really started to struggle, picked up a loss yesterday, I think it's important for their morale and their team spirit, especially as he's one of the shot callers. I'm going to move on to the second OP5. It is, of course, the front man for Fnatic. It is Febiven. He picks up 28% of his team's damage. He played Gangplank and Lissandra. And despite a challenging game against H2K yesterday, really turned it back around today with Lissandra. And it was partially because he was enabled by another Fnatic member, Spirit, of course. Gragas and Lee Sin, 6, 3, and 12 on the week. And Spirit really had a great impact in terms of the game, helping out his team, picking up a multitude of ganks, and of course, who's going to forget the Baron steal right at the way in there with the Lee Sin. So Fnatic end up picking up a win against Roccat. That's 3 down, 2 to go. Next up, we have to talk about Betsy. He is our statsman, Spellsy's favorite player in the European LCS. He went 7, 2, and 3 yesterday as Corki. Played in Navia today, which wasn't great, but I was a big fan of how he uses the package to pick up that win. And finally, rounding out the OP5 for the week is a man that was lobbied for very heavily by Deficio. It is Kasing. Going to give you some interesting stats for him. He places on average 12.5 pink wards per game. That's an average of around 940 gold, which is 10% of his total gold per game. That is a whole lot of money just on pink wards, not including sight stones, not including Eye of the Watchers or anything similar. And over the 14 games, he spent 14,000 gold just on pink wards. That's it for the OP5. There's one award left to hand out. It is the MVP. We're going to head over to the analyst desk for that one.
Thank you very much, Quickshot. Indeed, still one award to give out. Let's give it away right now. Looking to make the biggest impact on his team in their last 4 matches of the Spring Split. Today's fantasy leader, as well as MVP for us, Emperor of G2, 14 kills, 13 assists over 2 games as Lucian. He's our Week 7 MVP, and you know, as it often goes, for instance, with Vitality, you always look at Cabochard doing well and a lot of players, and Emperor is one of those guys who's been really doing well steadily in the entire season so far for G2, and a nice MVP.
I think what I like about him recently is that he's making a lot of plays with aggressive gap closers. So we had that phase, I think, where he was Ezreal shifting over the wall to clean up a fight against the team last week, I think. Then this week, just aggressive Lucian dashes constantly. He's not afraid to go in. And more importantly, what impressed me in the early parts of the season, obviously that doesn't get you an award, is just combined with Hybrid, the ability to play losing matchups and go even. I think that's actually something that's very underrated, because very often the camera would pan to Kikis, you know, or Perks making plays, or jungle just AFK farming and getting ahead there, tricking the jungle, but then Emperor and Hybrid would be on an island and they would play a losing matchup, but still go even.
He plays a style G2 likes to play. Like, that fits him perfectly. Very aggressive, sometimes a little bit too aggressive, but if you are ahead in gold, you can often pull it off anyway, and he fits the team extremely well. Another guy that also like Trick, it's the same deal. You know, both Koreans on this lineup, they like to play in the enemy jungle, in the face of the enemy, often not thinking too much about what could potentially happen when they make the plays. So like, he also had a great week, of course, but Emperor gets the MVP.
Yep, and they get a week to go on cooldown, as the European LCS will as well, so the teams can compete over in Katowice. But the Spring Split continues on Thursday, March 10th, with a clash between Fnatic and the Giants. Unicorns of Love will square off against Origin, and Vitality will take on G2 in our match of the week. Wow, super stacked coming back there. Vitality G2, of course, as well. And very important, they have locked in their spot in the playoffs, but